right. Let's get it 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 right. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Deala T. And this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode, and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat, get you something to drink, get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Wow. Let's get into this here.
My school of Raffles News on John Allen. There appears to be an overwhelming amount of possibilities on what happened to Nolan Wells on July 4th, given that it seems he disappeared out of thin air after spending part of his day on Horn Island, Mississippi, while being the only black person amongst his group of all-white friends that he travels to the island with. But now a new investigation released by the United Cajun Navy is helping close up some speculation, as they would provide new pictures and gathered information. Now, at the center of the report, they would highlight key bolts connected to the case, their movements, Wells' whereabouts, and more. Now, after reviewing the 24-page report, one thing appeared to be very clear. After the boat Nolan Wells arrived on to Horn Island would depart around 4:30 p.m., the report did not find any credible evidence that he was still alive. If you can recall, the first time many of us heard about the story of Nolan Wells, it was accompanied by a picture of Wells and friends he went to the island with, which would signify that he was alive earlier that day on July 4th. Now, for whatever reason, it appears that pictures or any credible signs of life would not continue after the Triton boat he arrived on would allegedly take on water and begin to depart further away from the island, according to his friends, due to an issue with its bilge pump. For some, this is an interesting fact, given that if Nolan remained on the island, why did pictures of him not continue like the one that went viral? Now, what this means is previous reports of saying that witnesses saw Wells can also be challenged. A part of this new report, several new pictures would be shared, including a photo of a black man in blue shorts walking the beach amongst a group of his white peers. From the looks of the photo, it does not appear to be Wells. Now, when it came down to another possible proof of Nolan still being alive when his friends left on the boat he came on with, the report was only able to provide the previous mentioned photo and a person passing secondhand information that a passenger of theirs felt certain that they saw Wells a part of one of the groups that was fighting that day. One of my passengers is pretty certain he was part of the group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. The Bertrand with the blue top that I posted left shortly after that, and pretty fast. In response, a Facebook user would ask a follow-up question, whether the fight happened with others or amongst themselves, in which he would reply, the 3 people on the boat that saw it all say yes, it was amongst themselves. Now, this original statement of seeing Wells on another boat around 5 p.m. would immediately be challenged by a passenger of the alleged boat. The user would go on to write, Matthew Lamb, sir, you are sadly mistaken. We are the group you yelled at as you pulled up thinking we were going to hit you, and we weren't, and we were paying attention. Love, totally different kid, was with us. I was with the Bertrand boat, and we had no affiliation with him. We hate to hear this has happened, but do not smear people if you did not actually see something happen. This causes more issues for the people in charge trying to find this baby, and it creates stories that are false. We did speak to the boys, and at that moment, he did have an entire vodka bottle in his hand. You need to revamp your statement and not put blame toward anyone. We don't even know what happened, but I will tell you, you are mistaken. Give the cops my name. I will let them know who we really had on our boats. Now, this lack of evidence that can back his friend's claims that Wells wanted to stay on the island because a girl he just met appears to be more proof for some, following the very questionable audio that was just released, that has even more positioned the friends with being blamed for Wells' passing. As many look to speculate Wells' friends being a part of what some are calling a cover-up of his death, they have recently pushed back, while also asking people to support them through a newly launched donation page. On their Give Send Go account, which has now reached $150,000 in donations, they would write, since Nolan's death, Warren Hudson, Jack Spatalo, Morgan Seymour, and many others have been inundated with death threats, threats of violence, and defamation. They have been falsely and wrongly blamed by individuals online and in the media by either directly or indirectly having a hand in Nolan's death. Most of them could not attend their own best friend's funeral. Why? Because race baiters send a deranged army after them online in the name of justice. Since the beginning of the investigation, these young men have cooperated with authorities, turned over all information they had, and provided an overwhelming number of witnesses accounting for their whereabouts. Some of them even resorted to speaking up publicly to defend themselves against baseless allegations. One user who would donate $250 would go on to write, I hope y'all tear the race-baiting, money-grabbing black ashes up. Now, for many, his friends, even launching a donation page under the current circumstances is very questionable behavior and will cause several users on TikTok to sound off.
Y'all won't even believe this shit. Stand with Nolan Wells' targeted friends. They are trying to raise $100,000. These little sons of bitches are out here trying to get sympathy donations, and they've already raised over $20,000. Saying on Independence Day weekend 2026, lives were changed forever when a group of friends lost their best friend. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. Of a brother? You mean the brother that you left, allegedly? You mean the brother that you allegedly left after he had been drinking? Allegedly. You mean the brother where you literally didn't go to the funeral? You're literally making this about you and not about Nolan right now. This is victimhood, but I'm not surprised. I'm never surprised by the caucasity of you people.
Right here, this is what white privilege is called. White privilege, right here. Right here. It is disgusting. They're not raising money for Nolan's family. They're not helping out. No, it's only about them. This is what they've been doing since day one, protecting their own asses. That's all they care about. You know what someone said to me the other day? You're really judging these white boys. Have you not opened your eyes and seen how they are moving, how their family is moving, what their actions are, how their behavior is, how their body language is, how they're even expressing stuff? You don't go on some racist mega podcast guy and you get interviewed by him. No, you don't do that. If you actually care about the family and care about Nolan, you would be doing everything to find answers.
Now, according to the latest reports, the official investigation is still considered ongoing. So if there is proof that Nolan was still alive on the island when his friends left, it has yet to be revealed by local authorities and investigators assigned to the case. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Do you find it suspicious that after the boat Wells would leave on, a new report by the United Cajun Navy could not find any credible source that he was still alive after 4:31 p.m.? Reporting live from Hypers Club, Friday Plus News, I'm John.
I have some inside information on the state-ran autopsy report for Nolan Xavier Wells. And for now, it looks like to be good news, I hope. Before I give you this insider's information, I want to make one thing abundantly clear. I do not trust anybody in Mississippi. I do not trust law enforcement. I do not trust the medical examiner, Stacey Turner. I do not trust the DA, nor do I trust the governor. I don't trust none of them. But when it comes to the Nolan Xavier Wells case, I do trust Nancy Grace. And if the guess that Nancy Grace had on her show last night proves to be correct, then this is extremely positive news when it comes to the state-ran autopsy for Nolan Xavier Wells. And when we are done talking about autopsies, I'm gonna close this video out with a message from Christine. because you know this channel is dedicated to following Christine's lead. There has been a major development in the Nolan Xavier Wells case. Sit back, relax, I'll tell you everything you need to know, and then I'll hand it off to you, the out louders, to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Yesterday, Nancy Grace had Joseph Scott Morgan on her show. Let me tell you who Joseph Scott Morgan is. Joseph Scott Morgan is a forensic death investigator, and he is also a professor at Jacksonville State University in Alabama, neighboring state to Mississippi. Joseph has over 10,000 death investigations underneath his belt, okay? He is a leader in the nation. Now, this man is overqualified and has connections, and of course, has friends in Mississippi. Now, I'm gonna play a clip from Nancy's show, and then I'll let you know the inside information after, when I found out after. But this clip led me to ask questions. Now, we have all heard about the sealed autopsy. The DA, Mississippi DA, said everything will be sealed and not made to the public. Now, talking with different people, some people are happy with that, some people are not. I have reserved my comments for further information, and I'm happy I did, because according to both Nancy and Joseph, this is a good thing. Pay attention to this clip. You're gonna hear Nancy saying in the David case why it was really good that it was sealed, and then also you'll hear Joseph refer back to Charlie Kirk. And you know, if anything, they want to catch Charlie Kirk's, the person who did that to Charlie Kirk, and you know they want to put David in jail. Okay, sorry, Tyler Robinson. You know they want to put Tyler Robinson in jail, and you don't want to put David in jail. So if those autopsies are sealed, it is a positive sign. But it was not only that, it was something that Joseph said after that led me to make some calls. Listen to this clip.
Joe Scott Morgan, death investigator. I've never known an autopsy report not to be a public record unless they're claiming ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Now, in the D4VD David Anthony Burt case, the LAPD demanded the medical examiner keep it secret because the medical examiner. How common is that? That the medical examiner is ordered not to release the autopsy. Why is the autopsy being kept secret?
Because it's continued investigation. They're going to get a grand jury with this. I can tell you that. I'll bet you dollars to donuts if that's the case. We see it with, we saw it with Idaho 4, right? We didn't have it there. We don't have it with Charlie Kirk. You know, that's an ongoing event. This is being investigated. I'll bet you dollars to donuts if that's the case.
When Joseph says, I'll bet you dollars to donuts, that this is for a further investigation, that is when the signals started going off in my head and I started making some calls. Why would he say he would bet dollars to donuts? 9 times out of 10, when somebody says that, that's because they know they're right. I'll bet you anything. I'll bet my house on this. Most people say that when they have some inside information. So I made some calls. Now, I reached out to somebody who knows Joseph. Of course, I cannot say their name, but they did confirm to me that Joe is heavily connected in the industry, and allegedly he may know some people that are involved in the case in Mississippi, and he may have some more information. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And that information he may have indirectly, accidentally leaked on Nancy Grace's show last night, confirming my hunch and my suspicions. Now, I want to be crystal clear. Joseph didn't come out and say he knows anything about the investigation, but the fact that he's a betting man, betting dollars to donuts, and now with my insider letting me know that he definitely 100% knows more than he's letting on, it's a good sign. Now again, like I started out at the top of the show, not saying I trust the DA, not saying I trust Stacey Turner, not saying I trust any of them, but I am comfortable in saying, and maybe I'm just being hopeful here, that Mississippi may be doing the right thing, and there may be an honest investigation going on, and there may be some arrests coming shortly. There was another tip from the insider. Now again, this is insider information. I'm not giving out any names. I'm not saying anything, but all I'm just saying is that things seem to be moving in a positive direction. Now, there's another thing that Joe said. He said he would be surprised if the state autopsy comes back undetermined. He said that with the amount of time that they had, the fact that they held back his parts of his throat, bones, this examining the toxicology, whatever, etc., he said he'd be surprised if it comes back undetermined. Now, those of you who've been following this channel daily, you know we have covered Stacey Turner. And we have a lot of questions for Stacey Turner, the chief medical examiner in Mississippi, that has 3 cases of Black men that she has determined after their autopsy to be undetermined. You know this is a routine. The fact that Joseph is saying he'd be surprised, again, according to my insider, he's saying that purposefully. So that is another very positive note. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm trying to give you guys as much information without, messing up anything with the investigation or revealing any of my sources or getting Joe in trouble. But read the tea leaves and read between the lines. Also, Joseph was also on Law and Crime, and he said some things there as well too. So he is out here making the rounds, and like I said in the beginning, Nancy, when it comes to this case, I trust her, and I trust her platforming Joseph. And what I've seen and what I've heard from Joseph, not only is he an expert and overqualified in his field, he's a good, honest dude. From what I've heard, you don't have any sort of questionable background things that we know of yet. Now, let me go on to speaking about my thoughts when it comes to the DA and her sealing the autopsy to the public and presenting it to a grand jury versus her sealing it and keeping it from Nolan's parents, because I have an opinion on that. Benjamin Crump told us last week that he is meeting with the DA of Mississippi this week. Himself, Christine, and Elmore, and I guess a few other legal parts of the legal team, Christine's legal team. Ben Crump let us know that he's going to be getting an update on the autopsy. Now, we do not know yet if the DA is going to give him everything in the autopsy. Is she just going to give him a overall update? Is she going to give him details? Is she just going to tell him about the toxicology? According to Ben Crump, he does not know at all. She could just be having them in her office to say, it's complete, and we just want to know the proceedings, and tell them nothing. Ben also let us know that it is legally up to the DA if she wants to disclose information, meaning it is her right to see results more wants to. She has the right to do that. They can't put information to anybody. If it's sealed, it's sealed. That is not true. The DA can tell Christine, Elmore, and Ben, or just Christine, she can do whatever she wants. It could be sealed, but she could tell Christine. It's, in my opinion, that the DA should tell at least Christine and Elmore what the results of the autopsy are. And I'll tell you the reason why. The grand jury, the proceedings, the investigation, etc., could take 2 more days. It could take 2 more months. It could take an undetermined amount of time. And the state's job is to be working for the family. That is why we pay taxes. That is why we have government officials. People forget about that. Your job is to work for us. This is where my taxpayer dollars go to. So it's, in my opinion, I feel like, do you have the completed autopsy? You should trust Christine with that information. Make her sign something that she can't say anything. And by the way, why would Christine want to say anything to the press or to anybody to ruin a potential investigation? Christine has been adamant from the very beginning that she just wants answers. She hasn't said anything else. You can say that I have said stuff. You can say that other content creators, people on IG, TikTok, you can say whatever you want about us. You cannot show me a clip where Christine has said anything else other than, I just want answers for what happened to Nolan. That's it. And if the DA has those answers, it is, in my opinion, that she should give the results of the state-led autopsy and toxicology reports to Christine, my opinion. Now, let me move on to the favorite part of my videos, is letting y'all know what Christine wants us to do, and when Christine lets us know how she's feeling. Because in my opinion, we should all be following her lead. Because Nolan Xavier Wells is her baby. If advocating for our deceased child to have a fair, honest, and transparent investigation while asking local authorities to treat his case as if it were their own makes you feel some type of way, please unfriend and block me, because this is my social media page. Woo-hoo, I love Christine. We are not asking for special treatment. We just want the truth. His father and I will not stop searching for the truth. Nolan Wells, Nolan Wells, Nolan Wells. Hashtag justice for Nolan Wells forever 18. Like I say time and time again, Mama Nolan just wants the truth, and she's asking local authorities to do what they are paid and what they were hired to do from taxpayers. Taxpayers like Christine, Elmore, and Nolan, okay? They paid for that autopsy. They paid for that toxicology. They paid for that investigation, okay? Right. Every year. That's what their tax dollars go for. Don't forget that. These people are voted in, okay? Do your job. All right, I've said enough. It is.
Hit that like button, double tap that screen. You know what's really crazy to me? You in here with your boy Deala T and my fam. This is No Filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Become a member today. We're here to save your life. Listen to me. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And share this with the world. Very important, fam. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you what I was telling my fam earlier. It's crazy, Wiz. I was telling my fam earlier that, you know, it's the fact that we are keeping this alive. And what I mean by that is content creators, the people that open their mouth and go live, record, make a post. But the real situation when it comes down to YouTube and us creators, it's crazy how you seen Epstein files getting cooked up. And then this situation come and now we cooking this. I just want you to understand that back in the day, this would have never happened if it wasn't for YouTube content creators. So we just want to amend, I just want to amend each and every YouTube content creator, big, small, middle, ugly, it don't matter. I want to amend you, those that are really putting out and seeking the truth. That it be put out, that the light be brought to darkness in this situation. That truth be brought to the light. And the fact that It's a deeper situation going on in Mississippi than just Nolan Wells. And we thank God that the fact we hate, Lord, that it took Nolan Wells to go through this for to get light on this city for others. But that's how the world works. And that's why you know it always only takes one. That's how you know. That's how you would never forget that it always only takes one. That's why I never cared about being different. I never cared about anything that I'm doing. Anytime I'm listen, anytime something I'm doing it, I know what I'm doing. Because again, it only takes one. And it took one for all of us right now to be focused on Mississippi. You hear me? The negligence, the lies, the immaturity of the officials, the hoodwinked, the bamboozling, the corruption, the racism, the fraternity, the brotherhood of KKK, white supremacists, these things. This is what's going on. This is what you're looking at when you're talking about Mississippi. So I just want to meet each and every YouTube content creator that care, fam, because at the end of the day, it takes us to continue to discuss this situation to keep it alive. That's why I'm talking, because we have to keep this alive. You understand? As we have looked at the situation, you got these so-called wannabe fake friends talking about they using a GoFundMe to make money off Nolan Wells. When they sat there and knew all of this shit that happened, and they didn't open up their damn mouth to say nothing about Nolan Wells to nobody. His mama called his phone 3 times before they had to look up that app just to see where his phone was, which they found at a friend's home. They lied, and they lied again. And that Warren interview, that Brandon Tatum think he was hurting somebody, Brandon Tatum thought he was hurting us with that interview. But really, he don't even know that he just hurt Warren and them with that interview. Because all that did was expose lies, more lies, and narratives that are getting pierced, cut down, and sharpened as we go about the days. And as the days grow, you seeing how his interview is becoming more and more thin. You understand? It's becoming more and more thin because of him opening his mouth. So if Brandon Tatum didn't do nothing, he did us a favor by doing an interview with Warren to expose his lies. You understand? Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We're going to cook them tonight. Because at the end of the day, you can see how if they got to use a website to make money off of him and keep talking about our friend, if that was your friend, you would have called his mom and went straight to his house after the situation happened. If that was your friend, when everything came out, you would have opened your mouth and said this, that, and the other. If that was your friend, and this is just Warren alone, let alone Wyatt and girls, just Warren himself. If that was your friend, it would have took you all the time to go sit down and do an interview, and you never would have did an interview. You would be there talking to his mama. If that was your friend, you would have been at the funeral. If that was your friend, somebody would not have erased messages out of his phone. See, it's a lot of things that go with if that was your friend. But yet we know, no, that wasn't your friend. But the fact of disrespect of them to make money off of his name. Lord, it's going to be vengeance. See, when vengeance is mine, said the Lord, trust me, they're going to feel it. Because at the end of the day, this is so more like y'all, this is like, it's like y'all, like glorifying his death or something. For you to try to make money, how are you all making a GoFundMe off of Nolan Wells? What is the point of that? No, let's make it make sense. Why would they make a GoFundMe for Nolan Wells to support themselves? You find that as a brother? You find that as respect? You making money off of this dead boy name and his mother and daddy grieving and don't know shit that happened. And y'all making money off of his man name? The nerve of you mother... What? You mutt. See, that's a mutt. The disrespect, the mutt in you all. Some damn mutts to sit there and make money off this man's name, knowing all of that money going straight to y'all. And you know what else is funny? And I'm going to keep bringing this up. Don't forget. Warren's stepmother is the judge, okay? And her name Judge Ashley, right? The judge is in the case. That's automatic bias. Your son is involved in the case of murder or the fact that somebody was unalived. You're the judge and your son is involved with this case? You should be removed immediately. You should be removing yourself immediately. What? That's automatic bias. There's no way around that. Why is that not being discussed? Also, when this situation first happened, and they created the tip line to find out for people to call in to give a tip about what they seen, heard, or even knew about what happened at Horn Island on the 4th of July with Nolan Wells and friends, right? Not friends, Nolan Wells and them white boys, right? The tip line was Judge Ashley's phone line. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Judge Ashley already biased in this situation because her son is a person of interest in this case. And this woman went ahead and made her number the number to call for a tip on what was going on with Nolan Wells. And this was early on when this first kicked off. So think about it. You got the mother that's the judge of Warren, who just did an interview, and now all his lies is coming to surface. All of them erased it, every one of their social medias, so people can see who they was, so people can go to their medias and see what they was on, right? And then all of a sudden, nobody's talking about how the judge, Warren's mother, stepmother, whatever, she's the judge. Her phone line was the tip line. So that means if anybody called and seen something and gave them a good tip, an amazing tip, a great tip, an excellent tip, that can nip this in the bud early, Judge Ashley, Warren's mother, had already got wind of it because her phone was the tip line number. Now, you can't tell me that shit ain't biased. That shit ain't right. That shit is crooked, and she should be locked up. Ain't no way. Because now you're talking about the tip line, and now you're talking about who called. So that means everybody that called that phone line, they can pull up that phone line call, those numbers from those people that gave them tips and probably still giving tips now. Think about it, man. These people is not his friends. They do not care about Nolan Wells, and they can eat shit. Who cares? You mutts. You mother sat there, knew what happened, and didn't say shit until information started coming out exposing you mutts for what y'all did. And then y'all want to come with some responses. For every time some new evidence came out about you mutts, that's when you mother started barking. This whole entire time, the world found out about Nolan Wells, and all of y'all went into hiding. Sat there, got scared, ran to your mamas and them who run the city for protection. And you know the dumb part about it? They parents can't even save y'all. I pray y'all see what's real. Y'all mamas and daddies, I don't care how connected they is, partner, they can't even save you. Because y'all stupid ass done the unthinkable and did it the worst way. They got the telephone call from the tow yard. They got the phone that they going through from the messages somebody deleted and didn't want nobody to see. Huh? What? Oh, okay. Then they got what else? Every story that conflicted from them talking about they wasn't on no boat. But y'all on some recordings talking about, is he dead? And everybody want to play death now? So y'all little stupid mutts gonna play death now. Hold up, white people. Hold up, white people. And I'm talking about you mutts. I ain't talking about my partners that's white people. No, I'm talking about the mutts. You gonna tell me that y'all can hear everything else clear in the world, but y'all all of a sudden can't hear the tow yard recordings? See, it wasn't about AI making up nothing, and I gotta clear this up for people that think people was messing with AI that had to do with those recordings. No. Let's get right, fam. When we heard the recordings, people went to chat and asked chat, what did the calling say? Because you can hear stuff in the background, but you can't make it out to be clear. The day and age we living in, everybody's gonna ask chat what to do. Can you hear him? Can you make out what we're saying? That's all that they was doing. Nobody had to add nothing. Chat didn't add nothing. AI didn't add nothing. All AI did was say, hey, partner, this is what they're saying in the background, and this is pretty much what I'm picking up. That's all AI did was say, hey, this is what I'm picking up from the C-tow call that had all of them scared, shook out of their mind, yelling out Bart name, yelling out, oh, come on, fam, yelling out a bunch of shit. But all of a sudden, everybody want to play dumb like don't nobody know what they saying? Like everybody deaf now? Make it make sense, fam. That's the dumbest shit I've heard in my life. All of a sudden, don't nobody know how to hear nothing no more. You heard them saying Nolan name 1,000 times. Funny part is, they didn't even think that the tow yard people start recording when you first called. And let me tell you something about they janky ass. I bet that the operator and the captain may be in on it too. Allegedly. Because ain't no way when that girl said, hey, yeah, captain, I got some this and that out in the river. She didn't even say kids, I don't think. She just used a term for the captain to know. So that's how you know they was talking in code. She didn't even say, yo, I got kids all over here. I got kids over here stuck and they got a problem. She said, hey, I got a such and such stuck out here. I can't really make out what's really going on. Seems like they saying they sinking. These are the coordinates. Be looking out for that call. So she automatically like, yo, be looking out for a call that you finna get because I know who it is and what's going on. This dumbass man sitting on the phone playing dumb like he don't even know what's going on. This is how you know he was lying too, just like they was lying. You sitting back knowing what's going on, but you ain't saying shit. The captain listened to the operator whole conversation about what was going on with them in that boat, and he could have cut her off at any time and said, hold up. You talking about the call I just got from the daddy? That's all he had to do, Captain Jack. All Captain Jack had to do was say, hey, hold up. You talking about some kids that I just got a call from their granddad about their grandpa, about his daddy, telling us that they don't need us to come, and if they do need help, we'll send help. He could have cut him off with that, but that's how you know he in on some shit too, partner, because he sat there and played dumb while she explained it, and then at the end he said, yeah, so I just really got off the phone with their dad. Yeah, they don't need a tow, so he told us to fall back until further notice. Come on, gang. What? And y'all gonna play like that stupid? They know who that man is the whole time. They want to play them games with us. But back to Judge Ashley. So yeah, Judge Ashley's son, Warren, is a person of interest in this Nolan Wells case. He goes on to do an interview. The world exposes all his lies. And in the midst of that, everybody then forgot that Judge Ashley needs to be removed from the case. Let's say that again. The judge needs to be removed from any of this. She needs to be a suspect of interest because of what was going on at her house. What did we hear? They met at her house. What did we hear? They cleaned the boat at her house. What did we hear? Somebody got into it at her house. Mid-stride in the morning, talking about people walking past, looking at people cleaning a boat at her house in the middle of the night. What? Now, the video we just did last night, it explains that all of those logged times of where the boat went, no, fam, it was 1 million log times that they didn't even tell us about. Woo! It was 1 million statements that wasn't even said about, fam. It was 1 million logged times of where that boat went that day. And trust me, partner, it went to some spots that conflicts with the story of Warren talking to Brandon Tatum. Not no officer. He's not an officer no more. He's not an officer at all. Talking to Brandon Tatum, Warren did, and that stupid boy got caught up with that. Sitting there, then conflicted his story. Now, in the midst of that, Ashley, the judge, his mother, she done made a tip line, and when she made the tip line, she used her phone as the #1 dial line. So think about this. You got a judge whose son is a person of interest in a maybe murder. And you said y'all created the public tip line to go directly to your phone about your son? Where they do that at? Because that's really happened. I was waiting for somebody to say that. Fam said Mississippi. I said, where they do that at? Mississippi, yes. The judge's son is a person of interest in this case, and she supposedly supposed to be the judge in the case. And then on top of that, she created a tip line early on, and the tip line went straight to her phone. So instead of her making a tip line, or the police making a tip line, be some random number that goes to some random department of the police. Instead, she made it her cell phone, her landline. So that made even more sense that when this thing started to unravel, it makes more sense how they didn't have an answer for it. Because as this has unraveled, this has been the only time they have only really spoke as this is unraveled. Nobody just took initiative and say, hey, listen, this is what happened. This is what's going on. This is what we're doing. So for me, it's more of a different, because at the end of the day, you got to know how far and how willing are you to go that far, understanding the matters at hand. Do you understand what I'm saying? How willing are you to go that far with that? Because at the end of the day, Judge Ashley, to me, needs to be investigated. She needs to be removed from this case. And I feel like she needs to probably put them handcuffs on too. And go on down there, fam, and have a conversation with them people. Because she's special. She a judge. So the way that she got to handle stuff is different. Shout out to Roof in the building with a $99 donation in the super chat. Shout out to Roof in the building. that's real. So that's the importance that I'm trying to get you to understand, that everything that's been involved with that. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. We done got really real with it. Let's go.
It's against people who are asking questions, or they're trying to build.
Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Don't forget, we cook it.
If we keep telling these stories and keep putting it out there, and people keep coming forward and sharing their experiences, I do believe that the truth will eventually come out. There's too many people involved. There's way too many people involved. The truth will eventually come out. I'm not saying that this is the truth, but it's coming out. The truth is on the way. So without further ado, let's get into this statement that this woman named Faith Lauren made on TikTok.
Okay, now listen, hit that like button, double tap that screen. There's some new shit. Faith Lauren from TikTok. She said she was in a nearby boat and she seen the shit with her own eyes that Nolan had gotten jumped. Now, how many of y'all done heard Nolan Wells got beat up in this situation? Press 1 if you heard that Nolan Wells got beat up, jumped, or had an altercation of some sort in this case. Since the beginning of them dropping this to now. Press 1 if you have heard that. Because now that she's coming out and saying this, that's like you being on a boat over there. Think about it. Somebody started fighting over here with a black guy, and you the only black guy. And you see that's happening, and you don't say nothing, but you just watching it. You can see. Now, also, shout out to Ms. Lowdown, because they talk about a situation. Ms. Lowdown talked about a situation about how they may have hit him here and in the back of the head playing that game, where one person hit a person in the throat and another person hit him in the back of the neck, right? That's some type of something they be playing or something, some type of something they be doing. But I was looking into that because that was a conversation that was brought up too, as if somebody seen that activity. So what I'm saying is, let's see what this lady's saying so we can see if we believe her or not. Let's go.
Spoken publicly about this before, but I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells from a boat nearby. What I saw has stayed with me, and I believe it's important information. I have provided or intend to provide my account to the appropriate investigators because Nolan's family deserved the truth. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation, I won't speculate beyond what I personally observed. I am providing this statement based on what I personally observed. While I was on the boat near the area, I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells and several other individuals. I saw what appeared to be an argument that escalated after there was a dispute involving Nolan's phone. I heard Nolan yelling for his phone to be returned. The argument continued after the group reached shore, and I observed a physical fight involving Nolan and multiple people. I also observed a young woman telling them to stop. At that point...
Hold up. Now, hold up. Did you hear what I heard? Here we go. We keep talking about him fighting over his phone again. So now it's making you think that whoever's around him and the guys that's around him playing with his phone, like they done took his phone, playing with his phone, and he like, give me my phone back. Give me my phone back, problem, right? Because at this point, this says, hey, somebody been messing with this man's phone and this man arguing with him about his phone. Clearly somebody stole it, took it, or playing and keeping it away from his possession, okay? So now we got that. So now if that's the case, here you is talking about somebody that got into it with this man about a phone, or somebody started something with him that had to do with his phone. But that would explain why his phone has deleted messages. That would explain why his phone has deleted anything. Because if Nolan Wells witnessed something with his phone, or Nolan Wells has everybody on the boat on his phone, they all getting locked up even more. Because they all keep lying and saying that man was never on no boat at all, and they trying to get somebody to value. They try, see, and this is what I'm talking about why the Judge Ashley lady has to be removed. Because you got people, they over there digging for somebody to say, oh my God, Nolan Wells was still on the island. After a certain time. They digging for it. They fighting for it. So that's how you know that they creating their own narrative. And to be honest with you, that's why I don't really feel too bad, because we still got the phone to figure out who deleted the messages. And then we need to know what deleted messages are gone. And that's what I mean by they're going to start telling on themselves, gang. Like this tow, let me tell you what's going on right now with them people. That tow call, that recording of that call and everything that was going on with them, that's gonna put all of them as a person of interest in this case, because all of them act like they didn't, and then you gotta understand the girl act like she really didn't rock with him. They acting like they did, but he wanted to stay here and went over there and did this and how do you do that, all that different stuff. But in my mind, I believe whatever they deleted from his phone is showing who was all on the boat with him. It may also show something else about why they hid it. They might not even had hid. They might not even had to say nothing about his phone. But it's just so crooked the way it sound now, because you don't really know, what's the real intent here, And I think now the phone has to say, hey, this guy, this girl, because remember Katie said she never was on the boat. They talking like Katie was never on the boat. And then I heard that they said something about Bart was talking about he was in Wisconsin or something. Is that right? Somebody tell me I'm tripping or not. Ain't that right? They said that boy Bart said he was in Wisconsin or he was somewhere. And whether you said your statement early on, I truly believe that the way this has been handled and being done, that some corrupt is about to come to the light. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. I ain't lying. We cooking for real tonight.
Left the area because the situation appeared to be getting worse. I did not remain long enough to witness what happened afterwards. Everything beyond what I personally observed would be speculation, so I cannot honestly say what happened after I left. I thank you a thumbs up if you believe. If you believe this to be an authentic statement, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, it ain't adding up. I gave you some moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. I don't know, fam. What I do believe is something happened. I do believe a fight occurred. There absolutely was an altercation. There was an altercation. And somebody or somebodies killed Nolan Wells. And I do believe he was killed on that boat. That's right, I said it. I believe he was killed on that boat. So all those scare tactics they're using ain't gonna work. You cannot change my mind. There is nothing you can do to change my mind about that. I believe Nolan Wells was killed on that boat by his so-called friend or friends. Yeah, and his so-called friends covered. Yeah, I do believe. And now I believe that the authorities are covering. That's why they're so aggressive about arresting people who are making threats towards, or alleged threats towards the friends, and not the threats that are being made towards the family. They're not aggressive about arresting anybody. They haven't arrested anybody in connection to making threats towards the Wells or the Walmsley family. They haven't made any arrests in association with threats received by journalists or content creators. They haven't made any threats, even for those people, on behalf of those people who are just simply American citizens who are asking questions online. Yeah, they haven't made any arrests. So what are we supposed to think? You know what I mean? Like, fam, at some point the jig got to be up. It's got to be up.
It's got to be.
You gotta sit there with, you know, look like no matter what we do, people just ain't gonna die. You know, we arrest 1 million people. I think it's a lot more than 1 million people who has an opinion about this case and who believes that Nolan Wells was murdered.
And let's keep it $1 buck, 1 billion, 1 million. I was telling my bro, I like, fam, we know there's some janky shit going on. Because at the end of the day, it ain't that hard to tell us what's going on. Or to know that if it's being handled like procrastination, you know, other information you gotta, other information you gotta find out, right? But it's like, it just seems like a big procrastination, a big delay, a big, nobody's in hurry up mode, you know? And it's like, everybody is hurrying up to respond to defend themselves, but nobody's hurrying up to respond to the case and those responsible. Let me say that again. Everybody is running to defend themselves. Why? Because all of them got something to say to defend the case, to defend themselves, to defend the arguments, to defend what people think, to defend what people are putting out. Yeah. Yeah, that's the real thing. So we gotta really understand that. Shout out to William Lynch in the building with the $2 donation in the Cash App. Hit that like, subscribe, comment, and support. That's real, family. I truly appreciate you for that. But that's I'm just saying that that's the case, and now we have that. So if he had been any way been done in that manner, it's time to find that out. But the fact that they have been procrastinating, taking all day, not really saying too much or nothing, that's how I know they've been spending more time on trying to figure out an alibi. See, more time is being spent on alibis than justice. And when you start talking about the DA, the governor, you know, all of this district attorney, you know, you start talking about all these other folks, these people that's in high places, anytime it's operating like this in this manner, fam, you got some people involved for real. And in Mississippi, nobody's stressing them. Nobody's telling them how to do nothing. They doing it the way they've been doing it because this is how they know to do it, okay? So a situation like this come out, and now we got to blow this thing up out of proportion to make this get the right attention. People need to thank God and understand why we have to do it in this way, in this manner. Because at the end of the day, whatever money they make ain't enough for the time they finna have to serve. Let me say that again for the people in the back. At the end of the day, ain't no amount of money that they trying to make or earn that's deserving, because this is so wrong and crooked on how they doing Nolan Wells. And it's ridiculous, man. Let's go.
I'm sure it's in the tens of millions of people who believe. So I'm not, and when they do things like that, when people are out here making threats against people who are asking questions, or they're trying to belittle and they're criticizing and they're angry at people who are just simply asking questions, that makes me even more suspicious. Like, what do you have to hide? Why are you acting like the criminal we are accusing
You of.
the people who you're supporting of being? You're like, if we're so wrong, you should be calm about it. You should be calm about it and let the truth fall where it may.
Right, as it should and
So,
as it has.
is your guy innocent? Or is your guy guilty? Because you're acting like your guy is guilty. Am I making sense, fam? Am I cooking? Come on now, fam.
Some of them
Come
in
on.
the building.
Come on. This don't make sense at all. This does not make any sense whatsoever. An altercation absolutely occurred. I'm not beating around the bush. An altercation absolutely occurred. Man, I'm using common sense. I don't need to wait on no damn autopsy. I don't need to wait on the official report from the DA's office. And what's taking so long anyway? This is a high-profile case. There ain't a case bigger than this case in the entire state of Mississippi right now. So what's taking so long? This is supposed to be all hands on deck. If Mississippi is the polite, law-abiding, loving community and state that y'all say it is, y'all should want immediate justice. And they should be trying to get the citizens of Mississippi back to a certain sense of normalcy as soon as possible. How do you do that? Bring this case to a close by doing everything you can to make sure that you look under every rock for evidence. And if you find it,
Send it to
do your
Sam.
job.
Right. Hold on to it. Be
If
quiet.
you find it, bring somebody to justice. Try them, convict them, and that's how you put the case behind you and put Mississippi back on track and put people in, and have some type of level of honor. It's going to be small, because here's the deal. That coroner y'all got over there is questionable. The DA, questionable. So y'all want to make it right? Do the right thing. If you want people to talk about you like you're an honest community, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Be transparent. Give us some investigation updates. Give the family some investigation updates.
Investigation update.
Go after the people who are threatening the lawyers.
Cause y'all ain't said nothing.
What happened to the Civil Rights Division? Oh, that's right. Trump gutted it.
Gutted it.
So there ain't no, I guess, protection there. I guess they got still got a few little laws left over, but other than nothing really substantial that you can point to. Yeah, this is one of those cases, fam, that is going to be a nail in the coffin for Mississippi. I think
I want to go back to Nolan Wells' cell phone, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Nolan Wells' mom had no idea that his friends had his cell phone, right? She had to use an app to find out?
Well, she used the Life 360 app to find out where Nolan's phone was located. Yeah. Well, she phone time.
Real quick, I want to take this moment to shine light on the homie William Lynch, 578. Becoming a member in this thing here and want to get your life saved. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, William Lynch. Truly appreciate you, family, understanding and willing to let us change your life. Because I tell people at the end of the day, we're here to inform, understand, and be aware that if it walk like a, talk like a, it's a duck. And we ain't playing with them because it's duck hunting season. Truly want you to know, William Lynch, I truly appreciate you becoming a member, family, tapping in and becoming a member for life. That's a real thing. And that's how we coming and that's how we going, because people need to understand what's really real. We here to bring light to darkness. We read the headline, then we read in between the lines, because that's what's going on today. Again, shout out to you, William Lynch, becoming a member of No Filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, family. Do the same. Hit that like button, turn the notification bells on all, don't miss it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the episode. And share this with the world.
No answers, and she used the Life 360 app to find out where it was at. So she's suspicious because of those things, because she's saying, my son, they don't believe would have just stayed back because they said that was uncharacteristic of them. And then they're saying, and they don't think their 18-year-old son wouldn't have stayed back on the island without his cell phone because he has no means of communication.
Right.
So those are the things that to them are very questionable.
Let me say this. Listen to me. The first two things that went wrong with this from the jump was when this first happened, the police officer came out and said, no foul play, bam. No investigation, no nothing. Just found this man's body and then said, no foul play. So let's get that out the way. Oh yeah, it was some foul play. Because you being foul right now running that play. You being foul right now running that play, telling us that there's no foul play and ain't nothing ain't even been looked into. Nobody even know nothing. We ain't got an autopsy, we ain't got nothing. So that's the first ignorance. And then the fact, like I said, they all knew what was up about Nolan. Never contacted nobody. Warren sat there lying ass gonna say he called Miss Christine. Boys, you what? I said, what? So, we got things like you got situations like that where now because in my mind, I was really trying to understand why they continue to say no foul play with no investigation, and then the judge is the mother of Warren and she go hook up her phone as a tip line to find out what happened. She and all of them erase all of their social medias. Now tell me real quick, your friend become unalive and die, and you gonna erase your social media? Why? I mean, make it make sense. Why would all y'all delete social media if that's your friend brother that you saying in that GoFundMe account? So I think the thoughts that I'm having in and out, and I keep trying to get back to, is kind of what I was thinking earlier when I was speaking about how Judge Ashley needs to be investigated to me. Because if they for one moment allow this judge to rule over this case, knowing her son is a person of interest, knowing that she is a person of interest, Shout out to Thunder in the building. That's not a friend, because this happened and all of them hurried up and went and got lawyers, deleted they social medias, and just sat there and said, are we just gonna listen to what they say? Don't say nothing on social media. Don't say nothing on your phone. Don't call nobody about it. Don't go talking to nobody about it. Don't do none of that. I can tell that's a lawyer, man. That's a lawyer informing you of what to do and what not to. So it's a lot that go into this, fam, because there's so many elements, fam. There's so many elements to it. And I appreciate hearing from being Crump, because Crump is really bringing another layer to it, saying, hey, yeah, listen, they held on to the phone. They tried to contact her about that phone, and they did not want to give her the phone until she had to go find out where the phone was.
And as we say, they're not adding up. So it's those type of things that we're trying to get to the bottom of. Because, man, when our 18-year-old children and our children end up unalive in very questionable ways, a lot of times they just sweep it under the rug. I mean, you never find out what happened. And I think that's why so many people with this Nolan Wells case are engaged.
Yeah, because we gonna play that shit.
I mean, you just think somebody had to see something. Somebody has to know something. I mean, there's so many people out there. How does nobody, if you say it's a drowning, nobody sees them go in the water, nobody tries to help them? I mean, it just doesn't add up, is what we're saying. The fact that I was very grateful to his parents.
And shout out to William, because let me tell you something. Like you said, if it's your friend, you posted all the pictures, you're gonna embrace the family, and you're gonna support in any kind of way you can because of what happened is so tragic. You're gonna be at the funeral, all of that. Even if you involved with something, you still gonna be the one like, hey man, listen man, I ain't had nothing to do with this shit. I'm sorry it's that thing, because I can't believe this happened. But none of them did that. And as Warren is talking, he is showing no emotion. Think about it. You just lost your friend. They continue to talk about it. You don't have no type of emotion for this? Not a tear, not a cough. I'm talking about this man's face is so black and white that you wouldn't even believe that this really what happened that he's saying. Because how don't you have no feelings or expression of remorse or anything about this situation, knowing that he's gone and you're involved? At some point, but see, that's how you know he's following the script. Because when you follow the script, you have no emotion. You can't act in that manner because you don't have the emotion. You're following a script. You're being scripted. You have to follow what you're being told to do. You can't think in this way and think that way and say, hey, because think about Warren. He's talking, but he's lacking all the emotion. He's lacking all the care, all the concern, all the remorse, all the I miss you, all the I love you, all the my brother, all the my friend, all the I can't believe this happened, all the I was there, but I ain't had nothing to do with it. But what happened, I seen what happened, and I can't believe that happened. Shout out to Theo in the building. You better hear me today. Ain't no way that you calling somebody your friend in that manner and you lose them in your face and you have no remorse or emotion to support your cause in your conversation when you sitting there interviewed by Brandon Taylor. No way. It ain't even a soul on here that can tell me that you got love but ain't got no emotion for something that just happened and you finna revisit it, the whole conversation with this stranger. But this your best friend? And the fact that you all have a GoFundMe account now up, that ain't your best friend. Because what best friend dies, and you go make a fund me account after your best friend died. What? You make a GoFundMe account for yourself? You ain't making it for the family. They making it for themselves. Come on now, make it make sense. That boy ain't got no emotion about nothing because naturally you can't hold back tears if you love somebody that's dead. Let me say that again for somebody in the back that need to hear it. Naturally, you can't hold back tears for somebody that's dead that you love and that's your best friend. If that's your best friend, you love them. If that's one of your best friends, you love them. You're using that word best. Huh? It ain't a soul I know that's calling somebody their best friend and they don't love them. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. This is crazy.
His mother, his father, Elmore, are using the attention that they've gotten to help bring attention to other tragedies that were similar, where 18-year-old black boys end up being unalive, and there's so many questions about it. One such is Daniel Irvin that happened outside of Dallas, Texas.
And you ain't lying, Theo. Theo calling them heathens. I call them mutts. Them mutts was not his friend at all. And you know what else funny? He was so like loving and caring and friendly, and he doing TikToks, he doing dances, whoop whoop, take it down through the street, bing bing, boop boop, clap clap with your friend, boop. Why? This Nolan, man, doing full blown TikToks with friends. He walking up like, hey brother, what's up with you? I love you. I mean, he like one of them black boys, like black. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't ninjas like that ain't from the hood. You ain't lying, Thunder. Shout out to you because I knew that GoFundMe money was to support this case. And even if one of them convicted, locked up or whatever, they gonna try to put that money on his books. You better hear me today. Straight up, because them mutts is doing it, and they should say make money knowing that they about to go down. Because why would y'all be making money knowing y'all finna go down? If you don't know you finna go down. Why would y'all over there try to build money if you don't know y'all finna go down? And it'd be funny for the white people that's supporting them mutts. It'd be so funny that when y'all heard the verdict or y'all heard the situation, they're gonna take their money back. Or they're gonna try to get their money back. Because all of them gonna look so bad. And there's gonna be some white people that's not gonna believe the truth that happened, but you're not gonna be able to dance around the truth no more. Because that's all they've been doing right now is dancing around the truth. Dancing around the accusations that point to the truth. Dancing around recordings that we hear that say truth. Dancing around the fact that y'all stole that, took that man's phone and erased everything in it and didn't even contact his mama or daddy to let him know you got it. You understand? Lying about the facts that you want to sit there and tell me that this man was not on an island, but yet you telling me he was on a boat, but he wasn't on a boat. But yet we hear y'all on the tow call yelling nothing but Nolan. See, Nolan wasn't from the hood. No, he wasn't. He was from out there with them other folk. Yeah, happy-go-lucky, happy-go-friendly, happy, just happy. And it's the worst case because you got an innocent, just happy ninja. So we really got to get an understanding on this, fam. Because at the end of the day, right now, we can't allow this, man. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. Let's go.
Murder. I'm don't even know why the Cajun Navy put this out. There's nothing there. That believes that these boys need legal fees taken care of or whatever else they need, go ahead and support it. Go ahead and support it. And let me tell you, in my heart of heart, after reviewing all this stuff, and I populate, push that into equal funding or gifts and goes. But I'm gonna tell you what, I'll put it out there if y'all want to support. I'm not gonna do that. We reviewed this thing and it's a nothing burger. I don't even know why the Cajun Navy put this out. There's nothing there. Maybe it gives people fodder they can create a lie because they know you're not gonna read 26 pages. But I'm gonna have Grant read the synopsis because we went through.
It is over. They are on Officer Tatum's ass, bro. They are on Officer Tatum's ass,
He's
bro.
no
I
officer.
don't even want to know why I call him
No
officer.
officer. He's
He
not.
is not no officer no more.
Thank you.
Before we get into these videos,
Thank
bro, oh my gosh. We got a psychotherapist that's breaking down the psychological effects
Games he
that
playing.
Brandon Tatum must have went through
That
to
coon.
be the way he is. Because he just go against his people, so people think like maybe it's just the money. Why do he still call himself officer when he's not a police officer no more? What was it like and how was he treated when he was younger? These are all the things that's going to be getting answered when the psychotherapist Elliot Connie break it down, because he was just on the Willie D Live show. And what his thoughts are on Brandon Tatum, bro, I feel sorry for this dude now, bro. Because it's to the point where as though you're not just doing it to piss everybody off. You got so ingrained in you.
You so invested.
The hate.
Right.
And you built up this character
Right.
that you really can't depart from.
Right.
And now it's to the point he's being used by the other side and there's no turning back.
Right.
He's stuck.
Right.
It's up and it's stuck.
Right.
No, he's stuck.
Literally.
Before we get into it, I'm gonna need y'all to hype this video.
They can't do nothing about
Y'all ain't gonna wanna miss this one
Hit
right
that
here.
like button, double tap
And
that
please
screen.
subscribe. Let's get this out there.
Double
in the
like that, tap
algorithm,
button, hit that
because
screen.
People need to see what it
You
is
ain't lying,
like
Theo.
to be like a Brandon Tatum.
Hit
And
that
what
like button, double
happens
tap
to
that
people
screen.
like you when you do stuff like this, when you go against your people, when you go against the grain. But without further ado, let's get into it, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, how does a person throw a community that they're from under the bus consistently while praising another community consistently, specifically a community that has shown the propensity
Tell me about that.
to subjugate, undermine, discriminate, and hate the community which you're from?
Oh, that's easy. I don't have that in me, but I am a well-read, well-researched person who can describe psychological phenomena pretty concisely.
Help me with this, bro. I need the information on this one.
Well, the answer to that question is resentment. If I am from the Black community and I have never felt accepted within that community. I never felt like in the in crowd, Black girls I wanted to date, or Black guys, doesn't matter, but Black people I wanted to date always rejected me. And then you go off into another world. In this case, he went from Fort Worth, Texas, and a very Black area of Fort Worth, Texas, an area of Fort Worth, Texas known as Stop 6. He went to Dunbar High School, which is an incredibly African-American African-American school, predominantly African-American school. And he leaves that school, and then he goes to a school in Arizona to play football. So imagine if you have not experienced acceptance at Dunbar High School, and you were a standout athlete and all these things, and then you go to University of Arizona, which is no longer predominantly black, and let's say the white community, like they want you in their fraternities, and the white girls want you to date, and they're saying positive things about you. You begin to build resentment towards your own people and start to seek acceptance from another group, which I believe is exactly what happened with Brandon Tatum.
Wow.
Okay.
So hold on, let me get this right. You started off around a bunch of black people.
Okay.
You played football. You was from a predominantly black area in Texas called Stop 6, but you wasn't getting congratulated like that because, you know, look, our people, we good in sports. You're not just gonna be good in the sport and then you shine amongst everybody. Nah, you just gonna blend in right with everybody else. So when he went to the white people, around the white people, you know he gonna shine because he's black. You know what I'm saying? So he probably got high praises around those white people. But he started to switch in his mind somewhere like, yo, these people are better because they clap for me. But he got stuck in that mindset. Let's continue.
How do you know when someone truly believes that what they're saying is independent versus trying to protect an identity?
Let me tell you what's funny. Let me tell you what's sound. Hit that like button, double tap that screen real quick, fam. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Listen, this is what's funny to me. Joseph Gross says, lots of people are going to feel really bad if they find out it wasn't murder and need to ask God for forgiveness. Now, check out this. He said, if we find out it's not murder or it wasn't, right? So the part that's funny is if they know what happened, why didn't they just come out and say what happened? Why we got to do all of this? And then one guy is only the one talking. And even in his talking, he's only saying certain stuff. He's not saying really what's real. Because to me, at the end of the day, it's just, I don't understand why people keep using that if word. Like, listen, man, everything that has come out, it's not no if it's not murder. Everything that's come out is pointing to everything that has to do with foul play or some type of play. And this is foul play right now, the way this is being handled. So it's hard when you say, hey, listen, if it wasn't murder. But what you looking at is a situation that points in the direction that this was. And nobody to me would say it's not, or even be considering that word, if what we have heard all the way up until this point is not right, not consistent, and just not together at all to be able to trust that that's right. You understand? So you got situations like that, but all I'm saying is that everything that the internet or us YouTube content creators is pitching or pressing, okay, is things that are showing signs, okay? Think about it. Everything we're hearing and seeing and showing is showing signs that point into the direction that you all had something to do with this man not being in the world no more. These are all signs. None of this you wouldn't even be able to know the truth unless they wanted it to be out there like that. But the fact that these are signs, these are just the signs that we're looking at. And every sign points to somebody's lying, somebody's covering up something, and somebody is participating in procrastination. Okay? So it's not about I'm childish. I'm just keeping it real with you about you saying, hey, you're very childish to say if they find out, then if they do, this is what's going to happen. Stop. Because at the end of the day, they need to know what's going on and how it's finna go on, because it's not correct on how things have been handled. What people have done in the manner that they've done it in. It's not correct. It's not correct. Oh, okay, that's cool, that's cool. But like I say, I think to me, my fault, fam, you said you respond to somebody else about the childish, cool. But I just wanted you to know, that everything that's been done hasn't been done correctly. And the way that it's been done has not been done by the books. And the way that things have been done, only been done out of favoritism about trying to protect something or somebody's or somebody. So we just got to make sure we fully understand that, man, because at the end of the day, I think that's the difficulty. Let's go.
It would move. Like, if I genuinely believed, like, I'll continue to use like a silly example, but if I genuinely believe the earth is flat, I'm not being paid for that belief. I have no brand deals for that belief. I just believe the earth is flat. And then I meet Neil deGrasse Tyson, who proves to me that the earth is in fact a globe. Then you would see me go, oh wow, I didn't know that. Thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I really appreciate that. But if I truly believe the earth is flat, and I've got 2 million subscribers on Instagram because I keep posting flat earth content, and I have brand deals, and I get access to very powerful people. I mean, Brandon Tatum has been photographed at the White House with some of the most prominent people in the Trump administration, including Donald Trump. So I get access, I get money. Right. So now when Neil deGrasse Tyson tries to prove me the earth is flat, my brain starts processing like, wait, whoa, I can't accept this, because if I do accept this, I lose access and I lose money. So that you can tell when someone has an independent thought, because they're perfectly comfortable moving their independent thought. The moment someone refuses to move their position in the face of concrete data, you know there's an external thing that is holding them in the position that they're in.
Thank you.
Wow, that is a great analogy.
The only reason dudes saying, wow, shout out to Big Kish at the end of the day. Shout out to Big Kish. Rock with Kish, I rock with Kish. Shout out to Big Kish. Now listen, shout out to Willie D. That's Willie D back there, his channel. Shout out to Willie D. But the thing that makes what dude is saying so interesting is because he can talk articulately, okay? He's articulately explaining to you, okay, that Brandon Tatum has resentment for his lifetime. And then he's also explaining to you that even in the eyes of honest information, okay, even in the eyes of honest information of Tatum, he still is going to push a narrative that he's being paid to push. He is definitely still being, yeah. That's why he said anytime hard evidence and truth is in front of your face and you still refuse to see that truth and you still refuse to be in denial, that means there's some external factors being done. That means something has changed hands, some type of compensation has been done. But this is what this means when these things is happening. Because at the end of the day, he really explained how somebody take it. And I said this, I said somebody paying this man from them white people. Some of them white boys or somebody paying this man to continuously be on what he on and talk about what he want to talk about. And the stuff that he want to talk about is totally against us. Totally against us. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. We cooking, man.
So he's saying if he was to ever come out and start speaking for his people, all his money is going to disappear. Because he's at a point now, he's doing it. He know he's being used and it's helping him pay bills. And he said, look, he's been taking photos at the White House. He is one of the people that they use to try to shut the black people up. But we not listening to no damn Brandon Tatum.
Right.
Well, first of all, the longer you go into a role, the more true that role becomes to you.
He's stuck.
So I don't know that he started off actually admiring them, but he's been playing this role. I mean, let's be honest. Officer is character. And the reason I know it's a character, because Officer Tatum is a job. That's a job he once had. He has lost that job, but he is continuing the character. Why? Because there's a lot of benefit and financial gain for him to do so. Like if he were a cab driver and got fired, you wouldn't call him, hey, cab driver Tatum, years later, right? Like no. He's holding on to the character because there's some incentive for him to do this.
All right, and also too, his name, that name, officer, that gives authority. That gives some type of say, hey, okay, I'm still the law. So when he being looked at as the law, basically, by using Officer Tatum, everybody don't know he not an officer no more. That man named Brandon Tatum. He just Brandon Tatum of today. He ain't Brandon Tatum of such police department, none of that shit. So the worst case is that. But it says, I know what it's doing psychologically to people. When they heard this retarded brother named Officer trying to call himself Officer, then went over there on that island with them white boys and did a whole interview over here, did all this, couple things, walking around looking at this, looking at this. I mean, it's just constant. So I don't, you know, it's like, I don't know. And I think now, Brandon Tatum is this is your modern day enemy right now that's teaming up with other people to come against things. And Christina and them, this is literally your son he talking about, and he's defending white boy because of his check. And he's talking about your son. If that was my son that lost his life and you got this coon out here taking money from white people just to down my son, ain't no way I'll be able to keep my composure from getting that from having to call this guy acting like he that guy and he's not. Man, you out your mind. Because that man is being disrespectful on every platform. And like he said, he playing his role. You know, he playing some role that he been playing for a while. So he can't even help it. Ain't that crazy?
It goes all the way back to slave mentality. It goes all the way back to what we used to refer to as house Negroes. House Negroes would, like, they live a more comfortable life. Like, they're in the actual house. They get access to better food, better clothing, better treatment. So when a field Negro is like, man, I hate living here, they've been playing that role for so long as a survival instinct that they're going to say stuff to me like, why? It's great here. Why are you making waves? That is exactly what this guy is doing. This shtick that he created got him connected to Turning Point USA and Charlie Clerk, where he learned how to access the conservative world and how to speak to them, how to get their feedback. This is much more about them admiring him than it is about him admiring them. And he learned how to speak to them while working for Charlie Kirk. But just to give you an idea of how you don't even realize or even care with being slapped in the face. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, murdered, which my heart goes out, I don't want anybody to be violently removed. But when Charlie Kirk was murdered, this man went online and was crying on podcast about how a great man had just been murdered and he's going to miss his friend Charlie Kirk. And they did not invite him to the funeral.
Wow.
So like, playing a role, not even.
You crying over Kurt, and you ain't even get invited to the funeral.
None
Ninja.
of it, Ninja.
Come on, bro.
Caring how they're treating him because he's not interested in whether or not he admires them. He's interested in whether or not he admires them. He has figured out how to turn that character into a large platform with a lot of money.
So it boils down to Brandon Tatum being pampered and him gaining access to people that he normally wouldn't gain access to.
Right, now we know why he on some jank. We know.
Hey, you already know, on this channel, we hold this racist system accountable. Because if we don't, who will? And if you don't like it, get to stepping because it ain't gonna stop. Now look, I can't play the actual video, but that don't stop anything. Man, what a take.
I say, in other words, if a black man cannot have a white man as a friend. He may have a white man who's friendly, but being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. Mm-hmm. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. Mm-hmm. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate. It is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ. Whenever it takes a stoppage of something that's going to affect the white man.
Because I was telling my brother today, shout out to Wiz, I was saying, it is naturally in all of us to be or to have a killer instinct or to even have an instinct of a savage. Because if you think about the times and where we came from and where we at today, in our whole kid life, it talked about, you looked at these sayings and you seen these posters and you seen like knowledge is power. And you seen these things about being positive and smart and working hard and being a hard worker and all of these terms and elements of what makes a good person. Those things were brought to us as kids to try to live by that curriculum so the world would be a regular place. Because instinctively, we are savages without that. So that tells you that we needed these things. We needed these sayings. We needed these posters. We needed these daily lesson plans. We needed these daily schools to constantly tell us about what we should be doing, how we should be feeling, how we should be viewed, how we should be doing things. So that's how you know even the more about us naturally being savages and how when Malcolm X is talking about whites, talking about blacks. Shout out to Theo with the $2 donation in Super Chat. Shout out to fam. But when you hear him talking about that, he's saying, because look at the times they were living in. He was in a time where if whites were your friend, okay, that's cool. They can be cool, but that don't mean they really cool with you. Having a friend and being friendly, it was different. That's what he was trying to get them to understand. You can have a white person come back, they can act like a friend. They can just act like one. But that don't mean that's really what it is. That because you care about what I care about don't mean you're going to be treated the same way as me to get it. So these are the things that I'm talking about, fam, that we got to like pump our brakes on for a second and breathe, because it's so many different elements to this situation that you almost have to like like, make sure you lock these people up, and then you hearing about these people, make sure they get some of that, and then you hearing about this other situation about him being beat up, and these people, and it's like, anybody to me who's bringing out anything that's false, and I'm not saying false, but saying like you creating your own narrative. I even heard like this white lady named Sarah, whoever she is, talking about the black audio woman that originally created her audio situation. So that's what I mean though when I say situations like that has occurred, and you just really trying to, you know, just get some order about it, you know. But wow, this is diabolical right here.
Find the white liberal absent. But when it involves something that primarily will affect the best interests of black people and black people only, then that white liberal is present. I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who really have the interest of blacks at heart, let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes.
Malcolm X warned black Americans not to confuse friendly words with genuine loyalty. He argued that some white people sought to lead black movements while still benefiting from systems that harm black communities. Make that make sense. And in the words of Johnny Taylor, everything's out in the open. There is nothing left to hide. And Malcolm X was right. These people don't care, bro, if we get justice or not, man. To them, it's all about clout. To them, it's all about the Benjamins. And if I'm lying in my comment section, tell me I'm lying. Because it all makes sense. Next, it didn't bring Officer Raccoon to her show to solve the case, to get justice. Right. It was all fake. It was all Hollywood. But we'll talk about that later on in this video. So before I
let me ask this question real quick. Awesome.
Little mama, you almost
no, Lloyd.
Fool, bro.
I'm tripping. Lloyd, there we go, Lloyd. Lloyd says, black people make everything about color. What are you talking about? That's the first thing you jump is on color? Don't want to hear it. Okay. And Theo says, I bet you're one of those people who conveniently don't even see color too, huh? Just don't even see nothing. Wow, it's crazy. Doggy Boy in the building, Boston in the building, shout out to you. So when you saying like black, so this is what I'm trying to say here. If this wasn't Nolan Wells and this was Warren, you telling me right now, Lloyd, that this case would be done the same way or be treated with the same energy they doing this Nolan Wells if this was Warren that was passed away? If this was Warren that was passed away and Nolan Wells and his friends on there, they all black. Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just saying, let's stop saying that we think it's a black people thing, Lloyd. It's not made about color. But I'm saying this situation, this Mississippi, stupid. It's Mississippi, man. And what else is funny, the medical examiner then had 3 cases that's black people, and she's saying she can't really make out how they passed away. And right now she has everything she needs and everything to do it in a timely fashion. So I think that's important, Lloyd, because again, this thing was made about race when they first said no foul play, and they ain't even investigate yet. No, it ain't the first thing we say that we guilty because about black. We just saying that has influenced a lot of decisions. And in Mississippi, black racial situations are at the top of the food chain, bro. It's at the top. So you got people like Louis saying, first thing you say is, why am I guilty because I'm black, 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 black? That's all I ever heard. And I'm supposed to be black people. And I'm supposed to be surrounded by black people. What? So we just want to get that in order. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. We still cooking. Let's go.
You was really showing your true colors. Oh, you thought I forgot? Man, I want to take.
You'll heard. Is it true? Witnesses stated that Carmelo Anthony said, touch me and you'll see what happens. That does not sound like self-defense. That sounds like provoking.
Yes, it did come out in court, and yes, he did say that. There was also some other things, some more colorful language that he used, but I'm not gonna use that language on here. But there was other provocative gestures and that were also used that was just basically antagonizing.
I want to start with where you were and what happened the day that Austin was killed.
I can remember it clear as day. I was standing in this room right here in my living room, and the phone rang. It was Coach, and he said he received a report that Austin was stabbed at Kirkendall Stadium. It took me about 4 minutes to get there. I live very close to Kirkendall Stadium. I was able to get there when they were putting Austin on the gurney. And that's when I saw his face and saw him and saw when I saw his face, I've seen death before, and I knew he was gone. And that image will probably never be gone out of my head.
You stated, Mr. Metcalf, that you went to the hospital. You had Austin's twin with you, Hunter. How has this affected Hunter?
Yeah, I bet she regret doing that because he was janky for everything he was talking about. I bet he would regret that because he was real janky. I'll tell you that now. Boy, it was ridiculous, boy.
Why did she cover up Nolan Wells' case? Not only Nolan Wells, actually it's a couple other brothers she covered up. She deemed it not foul play, or she didn't suspect
it's
foul
the medical
play.
examiner. Hit that like button, double tap that screen.
I'm speaking about the medical examiner, Stacy Turner. And today, what we'll be going over is a video explaining her history. Because throughout all of the Nolan Wells talk, our people need to be familiarized with her. She also needs to be exposed for how she up her business. Let's get into it, John.
Just some quick background so you know who we're talking about. Dr. Stacy Turner is a board-certified forensic pathologist. She earned her medical degree from the University of Kentucky and did her pathology training there. Finished a pathology fellowship at the Southern Institute of Forensic Sciences in Dallas, Texas. Before Mississippi, she worked as a regional deputy chief medical examiner for the Department of Forensic Sciences, as an assistant medical examiner at a private practice in Nashville, Tennessee, and as a medical examiner in Dallas. She joined Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office in January of 2020 as the first full-time pathologist in the southern part of the state. She became interim chief medical examiner in January of 2021, and the job was made permanent in November of 2021. She was the first woman to hold the role. As of July 2026, she still holds it. Here's the thing about that job. State medical examiner decides the cause and manner of death for the serious cases. Cases like homicides, self-deletes, accidents, deaths in police custody. And that office lives under the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. That's the same umbrella as the state's law enforcement. Hold on to that detail. But enough about Stacy for now.
Y'all heard that. Hold on to that detail. I'm gonna rewind it so y'all can remember what he just said. Gotta connect this.
For the serious cases. Cases like homicides, delete, accidents, deaths in police custody. And that office lives under the Mississippi Department of Safety. The same umbrella as law enforcement.
Same umbrella as the state's law enforcement. Y'all should know where he going with this. Check it out.
Yeah. On July 26, 2021, in the small town of Braxton in Rankin County, sheriff's deputies came out on a vandalism call. A neighbor said 29-year-old Damian Cameron had punched a wall. During the arrest, deputies presented more than once. Witnesses said a deputy knelt on him. His mother, Monica Lee, says one deputy knelt on her son's back for 15 to 20 minutes while he said he couldn't breathe. He was taken to the University of Mississippi Medical Center and was pronounced dead that day. But here's the thing about that, though. The deputies came from the County Sheriff Department that later produced the so-called Goon Squad. In January of 2023, a group of Rankin County deputies who called themselves the Goon Squad tortured two black men, Michael Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker, during an illegal warrant raid. 6 officers pled guilty. One of them, Hunter Elward, who was involved in Damian Cameron's 2021 arrest, was sentenced on March 19, 2024 to 241 months, about 20 years and 1 month, the maximum under his plea deal. The judge, U.S. District Judge Tom Lee, called the conduct egregious and despicable. In September of 2024, the U.S. Justice Department opened a civil rights investigation into the whole department. So when Damian Cameron's family looks at who was in that yard, they see the same department that was later exposed for racial violence. Dr. Stacy Turner performed the autopsy. She ruled the cause of death undetermined. In her report, she wrote,
"Sounds familiar? Here it is. This dude done pled guilty. Everybody know what's going on. But this damn witch gonna sit up there and say it's undetermined."
That due to a lack of access to information about the circumstances of the death, the cause and manner were best classified as undetermined. She has defended that kind of call, telling reporters her office errs on the side of undetermined because they don't want to make a mistake. Well, you made a mistake. A Rankin County grand jury then declined to indict the deputies, relying on Stacy Turner's finding. And we know how that works. You rule undetermined, and now your buddies get to go free, right? And remember, they're all under that public safety umbrella. But I'm not done yet, because several independent autopsies would prove that she lied. In 2023, the New York Times and Mississippi Today asked 3 independent forensic pathologists to review Cameron's autopsy photos, hospital records, sheriff's reports, and witness statements. All 3 concluded it should have been ruled a homicide. Dr. Michael Baden, a former New York City chief medical examiner.
Y'all know him. This face right here is familiar growing up. Y'all know him.
Who testified in the O.J. Simpson trial and performed an independent autopsy for George Floyd's family, said Cameron's death was a homicide. Absolutely. This person died of asphyxia because of neck compression. Dr. Zhang Shui Hu, chief of the forensic pathology division at Rutgers University, said that's really nothing to be undetermined about. It was a homicide. Stacy Turner's own autopsy documented internal bleeding in Cameron's neck and severe facial swelling and trauma. The injury pattern, those outside experts say, points to someone pressing on his neck. Still, she said,
"Stupid bitch." Man was beat to death. Stacy, you a stupid bitch. You sat there and let them deputies walk free from beating that boy up like that. stupid Stacy. You ain't You sat there and let them boys go free, knowing what they did to that boy. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. God gonna deal with you, Stacy. Cause he watching what your stupid ass doing. Sitting there covering up murders, covering up homicide, covering up killings from your own department.
Cause of death was undetermined. Damian Cameron's family sued. A judge first threw the case out on immunity grounds. So we gotta get rid of all that immunity stuff. But the Mississippi Court of Appeals revived the lawsuit, finding there were genuine questions about whether the deputies' actions were reasonable. That case is still alive. Stay with me now because you're gonna notice a pattern here. This cat in the hat face looking at Stacey Turner is on some BS.
So I want somebody to figure out how to do petitions. She got to get up out of here, bro. She is not. Why do she still have a job?
You gotta go, just like the judge. They gotta go, gang.
Channing Wilson was 13 years old, a D'Iberville middle school student. On May 8th, 2022, he was in the water with some friends near Old Highway 15 in Harrison County, along a river and a creek. Friends said they saw him struggling in the water. He was pulled out, taken to a hospital, and passed away. The Harrison County Coroner's Office ruled it an accidental drowning, and that was done immediately. This is before an autopsy was even completed, by the way. Any investigation was completed, they ruled it an accidental drowning. Channing Wilson's family disputes the drowning ruling. They say his friends, several white youths, threw him into the water. They've also accused officials of mishandling his body because he was actually embalmed without their consent, which destroyed crucial evidence. Wilson's death was ruled an accidental drowning, but reports say that determination was made without a full autopsy. Corey Howard was 36. His family described him as a father and an entrepreneur. The local tattoo artist everybody knew. Just before 1 a.m. on January 8th of 2022, a Moss Point police officer tried to pull him over for speeding. The driver didn't stop. Police chased the car near Magnolia and House Streets. The driver jumped out and ran into a marsh. Officers say they lost him and called off the search. Now, the thing that stands out to me in this case is the fact that he had a passenger in the car with him that didn't run away. And after the police chased Corey into the marsh, that passenger says they just got in their police car and left. They didn't come search the vehicle. They didn't come to talk to him, get a statement, ask any questions. It's like the police were running away from a crime scene here. Howard was reported missing by his family days later. On January 13th, after his own family and friends searched the area and turned up a jacket and a wallet they believed were his, police finally returned and found his body in the marsh grass off House Street. I wonder how that they put there. Howard's family and friends took to social media demanding answers, angry that police chased him into the swamp and then, they say, couldn't find his body for 5 days. Neighbors who were there said investigators never even interviewed them. They didn't interview anyone, probably because they knew what happened.
That sound familiar? Not interviewing nobody. Pull these people in the interrogation room to get to the bottom of what's going on.
And didn't want it coming out. That's my guess. But again, Stacey Turner's autopsy report ruled out homicide, but did not determine the cause or manner of death. Just undetermined as always.
Yeah, she gotta get up out of there, guy. Cause ain't no way, ain't no benefit from her being there constantly seeing how she comes.
Place. We don't know who's involved in what. And like my personal perspective is I want the investigation to be thorough. And once the investigation comes out, then I would like to make a decision for myself. But it sounds like everybody chose a side. And if you didn't choose the side that somebody else chose, then people are going to be against you. I didn't watch the interview, to be fair.
To be fair, Anton, you gotta stay consistent, especially when I'm watching you.
I think something diabolical happened. However, I think that Kenny is 100% on it. The first thing you gonna do is you gonna say, all right, listen, no, you ain't saying nothing, shut that social media shit down. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and we going to get a fucking lawyer immediately.
This might be one of the first times that damn near half the panel is against Anton Daniels when it comes to a talking point.
Another coon.
We know Molly's still on his meat.
Another coon.
Thing with regard to Israel at all, in mass. But what they are having a conversation about is the Nolan Wells case. And so that's what I'm saying.
Well, they probably feel like he chose a side. So, I mean, cool. I mean, if they don't like him because they feel like he's choosing a side, and we got we're getting less and less information from this, and it's just becoming bigger and bigger, and we still don't know what happened to the kid. So that's problematic. Because if the roles were flipped, and it was 3 or 4 black kids, and it was white, and a white kid end up dead,
we'll be locked up.
The sentiments would be different.
Everybody be locked up. Everybody. Mamas, daddies, parents, whoever.
Most of them.
Bro, when Carmelo Anthony had to defend himself against the bullies, the Metcalfs, before any evidence, any video was out, they were calling Carmelo Anthony a murderer.
Yes. They was calling him everything.
Without any evidence.
There wasn't no defamation, nothing. It was
just because he was black.
You better hear, fam, and that's House of Hypocrites right there. Shout out to him. That man said it right. They was calling Carmelo Anthony a murderer. Across the platforms. Whichever platform you heard, I don't care if it was social media. They was calling that man could have got defamation of character from everybody. He could have made his own GoFundMe for defamation. I'm about to make a GoFundMe for defamation. What are we talking about? He could have did that. But yet, still and behold, that man did. But they was doing that to him. They was calling that man a murderer and more. They was calling him more than that. Especially after he called him like a watermelon felon and his daddy went on public TV and just went in on him. He could have sued him for that whole statement and everything he made. Because he made a racial slur, watermelon felon and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Why did he take the knife to school? Why he have a knife? They tried to say he took the knife to school. It wasn't on school grounds. They tried to say he just hit him for nothing.
Right.
But don't mention the fact that he was threatened.
Or jumped.
And he was attacked.
Jumped.
So we have seen when the road.
And they took their clothes off and ran.
It don't matter if we meet our demise or take somebody's life in a just way, we will get painted as the perpetrator. We have seen it.
America's gonna feel like that. If the situation, America's gonna feel like that.
If the situations was different, Officer Taylor would be like, lock up these black people. That's what he was saying. If the roles were reversed and a white person died around a whole bunch of niggas, he was like, lock up these niggas. That's what he's saying. That's his sentiment about everything. That black people do everything wrong. And why y'all
don't do that? Because that's not fair. We don't know how he would react to that. We can only talk about what he's saying now. And I'm not even really talking about what he's saying now. I'm talking about why black people would be mad. So
give me an example of when he's done that, Quinn.
That's why I didn't want him to say that.
All of his talking points align, and he doesn't see anything objectively at all. He's going to stand far right of everything that he talks on, and it's stupid. That's why I love people. That's a fact.
Politics has nothing to do with race.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
It has nothing to do
He's
with
a full-blown Trumper. That nigga can't do.
Bro, Brandon Tatum, all his talking points are politically based.
Right. Period.
They are politically based.
Nothing else.
This is why
more.
he had a chance to bring up Ben Crump on why he is taking
angry post
charge in
somebody
the investigation and representing Nolan Wells.
No one's cracked because no one's been locked up.
All of Brandon Tatum talking points are politically based. Anton Daniels, bro, it's pathetic, bro.
It's sad.
You're not even trying to be objective or trying to play devil's advocate, bro.
It's sad, bro.
And these dudes been with you for the longest. Slimmy and Q been with you for the longest.
He'll sell out them people for them white people. He's selling them out for them white folks.
Nothing wrong to save his life. Like, it's crazy. I mean,
Give me an example.
Like, I understand if you're getting banged.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Quentin is right. No. Now that I think about it, Quentin is right. Because I actually heard him talking about that. He actually brought that up. I'm wrong because Officer Tatum in the interview said that even if it was like four black kids and there was a white kid that came up missing, he said it wouldn't be about race at all. And that's not true. That's not true because even this is about race. So you know it would be about race if it came to some black kids and something happened to a white kid.
No. Give me an example of a situation that happened that's the reverse or similar to this situation in Nolan Wells case, in which he by default automatically said that the black people was guilty.
I'm only gonna speak on what I've heard him say.
Carmelo Anthony, he didn't give it. Let all this stuff information come out.
Please say Carmelo.
Why did he do this? Why did he have this?
And then this is what I'm deducing from the conversation. By default, you don't like the fact that Brandon Tatum is affiliated with it. And so as a result, you don't like Brandon Tatum.
No, I didn't like him before I found that out. I just found that out today, actually. And I didn't like him long before then. I didn't like him way back with the stabbing at the track meet when he hopped on the white people's side per usual.
Okay, well, to answer your question specifically, Anton, I'll say this. I didn't know who Officer Tatum was prior to the whole Nolan Wells interviews. I personally don't seem to care for him because I don't think that his interview was thorough. I don't think it was as thorough as it could be. And then after hearing all this other stuff about him, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense why his interview wasn't thorough. So to your point about confirmation bias, I think that has a lot to do with it, because if I thought that those boys were innocent and that's how the interview went, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I do.
But then at the same time, we don't know who's innocent and who's guilty. So we saying those boys, we don't know who's involved in what. And like my personal perspective is, I want the investigation to be thorough, and once the investigation comes out, then I would like to make a decision for myself. But it sounds like everybody chose a side, and if you didn't choose the side that somebody else chose, then people are going to be against you. I didn't watch the interview.
It don't matter, Anton. Don't nobody give a fuck what you think, dude. We don't. I'm only playing this video right now to show how your panel is against your hating ass. To show how your panel knows your coon ass and how you operate when it comes to things. Because at the end of the day, you want things to come out because you know you play white ball all day. And now you want to play black ball right now. But you don't want to directly say it because your channel is just like Brandon Tatum's and it's only followed by mainly whites that you cater to. As all of his content is to put black men down. And blacks down. If you follow Anton Daniel, he is a straight, he puts black people down. That's all he doing every day. And he making money off of it. Okay? So for him right now saying he would like to know everything, and then he want to say what he say when everything come out. See, he don't want to say what we all saying, because what we all saying is, if that was your friend, none of this would have happened like it's been happening. Because at the end of the day, what I need Anton Daniels to understand is we know what you on. Okay? Let's get right up in here. We know what you on. We know how you coming. We know what you do. That's why Corey Holcomb had to cook your ass that other time. And you got mad and you took it directly and you started to disrespect him because he was cooking you about how you operate on your channel about blacks. Like right now, Anton Daniels has nothing else to talk about but about how blacks are doing bad and where we lack so much about why we where we at. That's all he talk about every day. And even if it don't even start off like that, he find a way to make the topic blend with that. And it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing. So that's why I know right now, he want to play blackball because he know them white boys been playing games. That's why he like, I would love to see all of the facts before I just make a decision on whose side I'm rolling with. That's basically what he's saying, man. I'm telling you. He want to see it all come out before he say he rolling with them white folk or them black folk, man. So right now he's gonna look a little bad because he's early not standing on business. And when Corey cooked his ass, he got loud with Corey only because the girl that was there that he had there with him. But we know all of that extracurriculum was rah-rah. Like nobody cared about that. We cared about the fact that you know what you own, who you dealing with, just like we just found out about Tatum. We find out about your ass too real fast. That ain't nothing but a quick hop, skip, and a jump to find out who you really working for, who externally taking care of you. Because the truth that we do know is that they made a call to the tow yard, and everybody on that boat, we heard every voice on that boat. And they continuously talking about, is he dead? And they talking about he is dead, and the girl saying shut up, and then the other girl saying shut up, and then what? It's too much, man. It's too many stories. It's too much. And for this guy up here to come out like that and say that, no. It's not saying that everybody should agree, because this could have went down any type of way. But what we are looking at is that his best friends did not come out with this information voluntarily. Let's make it make sense. His best friends, he claimed, did not come out and just make that what it is voluntarily. They did nothing voluntarily. Everything that has been done, they have been forced to do. The meeting, I'm sure they lawyer telling them when to do the meeting. The lawyer's telling them what to say, how to say it. The lawyer's saying, hey, we finna send out another slur campaign, so don't trip on this or that. You know, these are things that's really being said.
To be fair, Anton,
you ain't never been.
You gotta stay consistent, especially when I'm watching you.
2 weeks ago.
I think something diabolical happened. However, I think that Kenny is 100% on it.
What you mean?
The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna say, all right, listen, No, you ain't saying nothing. Shut that social media shit down. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and we going to get a fucking lawyer immediately.
Time to watch officers. I'm not even interested. I watch car videos, animal videos.
Look at that, look at that.
Those are the things that I watch, and those are the things that's on my algorithm. So I don't care about them. As a matter of fact, he even said stuff on his platform like, yo, I want to do some content at that time. And I never followed up. I never reached out because I just don't give a fuck. So the point that I'm making is that I don't think that most people can be objective. I just don't. I think that people have multiple different reasons, valid or invalid, on why they like him or why they don't like him. I haven't even given my opinion on whether I like him or not. I just don't care. I think he's really good from a political perspective on some of the things that he talked about. I don't know his stance on some other things, but I think that there's a demographic of people that rock with him. And as far as this whole Nolan Wells case, I just think that he's telling a side of the story that's being neglected to be told. And when I take the information in, I beg your pardon? There's certain parts of the story that's being neglected, right? Which is what? Like, for example, they tried to make it seem like that none of the families or none of the kids actually reached out to the mother, and they did. Who cares?
That's a lie. Don't know, ain't nobody try to make nothing seem like nothing. And that's the shit where Anton should be slapped the shit out of. Miss Christine, the daddy Alphonse word, whatever his name, they need to slap the shit out of this man for saying what he just said. So they trying to make it look like, hold up, Dirty, you talking about me? Me and my significant other, me and my marriage partner trying to make my child look like these fools didn't. The lady said she had to contact them 3 times, and then she had to go to the app to find the phone. What are we talking about right now? And it's sad because, Anton, you gonna believe that them white boys contacted her? And why she gotta lie about them contacting her? Why she gotta lie about it? But they have already lied about several things. So we already know their story not consistent. But why the mother gotta lie though? Because why would the mother have to lie about them contacting her about that phone? Warren knew this day one. He never called, never said nothing about, hey, this was going on, this is what's up, my condolences, I can't believe. None of that, because they never wanted to even confirm that the man was unalived. They wanted to make it look like he was missing. And nothing about nothing. So it's like they want to make it look like he missing in the water and now he's found and nobody knows nothing. That's what they wanted to make it look like. But as time has gone by, more has come out. So no one can say they didn't know what was going on with him or what was what or where he was at on anything. He can't. So this, and it's important for that. You get what I'm saying? It's very important that it's done like that. But again, Warren knew about this day one when it was told about, knew about this day one when Christina said that they had to find out where the phone was. Okay, so shut the hell up, Anton, talking about she trying to act like they didn't try to contact them. First of all, Dirty, you saying you don't even know where my son at and to not worry? Why would I be wanting to talk to you? You telling me don't worry about my son that's missing. And now we know this man unalive. So how are you even telling her what to do in a situation like that? Are you serious? It just ain't making no sense to me. So when I hear people like Anton talk like that, it just urges me to say stuff like I just said, because it's like, dude, are you serious? You gonna believe this white boy that done lied already several times? He didn't even want to do this interview, but he doing it because Tatum worked with his fam. So how could you sit back and believe anything from folk over up in there? Huh? Because ain't no way. That don't make no sense whatsoever. So you got names like Bart. You got a female's name on there. Then you got people saying, hey, look, yes, listen, there was some adults on that boat. You understand what I'm saying? So you got a lot going on.
What do you mean who cares? Because that's part of the story. That's a part of the narrative. They're trying to paint it like, when they did the press conferences with Ben Crump and they was having a conversation, they tried to make it seem like, oh, they're hiding, nobody tried to reach out to me, nobody said, the family literally said that. Well, they said that. What does that mean? It means a lot. How does that change how people look at the case? It changes a lot of things from my perspective. No.
Just your perspective.
It's not true. Then you.
That's that black on black perspective.
Either. Like no one wants to.
It's the same reason why I questioned why they hired. Hold on. It's the same reason why I questioned in the very beginning of why they hired a civil rights attorney instead of hiring a private investigator or some other type of shit. Why is the first person that you hired?
Because it's Mississippi, racist motherfucker. Boy, you sound stupid as fuck. What you talking about, bruh? See, shit like this, boy, make you want to slap motherfuckers from the hood. Just hearing dumb shit like that get your ass slapped. What? He talking about, oh, she tried to act like the white boys ain't contact her. That changes a lot for me. Oh, so you looking for a reason to ride with them mutts. And you like, okay, well, the mutts said they contacted the parent. And the parent said they didn't contact them. And you believe the mutts, right? Because you've been rocking with them. So now you have something to argue to ride with them for. But that's not nothing for him to say. So you look at the whole case different because you talking about they said that they act like they didn't get that? Hold on, let me give you something better. The judge is Warren's mother. She is biased. She had the tip line going straight to her cell phone or the house phone or one phone that she knew for herself. That's biased. You had a tip line connected to your phone, which you and your son have or persons of interest in this case that has to do with, oh, by the way, foul play, murder, mayhem. Maybe. So it's just astounding to me that he's talking about they contacted somebody for him to hang his hat on to go against what he normally goes against. When yet Ash, the judge, is trying to stay on the case and her son is a person of interest involved with the case. That's bias. No. That cannot happen. And yet we don't even hear nothing about that. And then the fact that her phone was hooked up to the tip line. Nobody's even asking like, bitch, when the hell you get some tips? What kind of tips? Did you write the tips down? What did they say? And that's the problem. Right there. All of them people deleted their social medias. Why would you do that? Did somebody give you a tip on a situation? Which made you say, hey, listen, everybody go delete their social media right now. Because this life or death. Nobody's explaining that though, right? Nobody's saying nothing about that though, right? So, in my mind, we're talking about what I believe should happen. We're talking about what I think should happen. We're talking about how people are being looked at and how they're going about this thing because of an opinion about how you feel about them. So when we're talking about, again, these are total facts. This is not defamation. So shut the fuck up in my comments about defamation because this ain't defamation. This is facts. The judge, Ashley, is Warren's stepmother. She's tied into the case. when this first started, her tip line was the phone number for the tips in Nolan Wells' situation. So again, at the end of the day, the best part about the situation that I knew about that helped this situation for the most part was that we want to have to highlight those things, because those are the type of things that people will not even point out, but yet they will point out something about, oh, Warren and them said they contacted the mother when it first happened. But ain't nobody go to the house and drop his phone off. See, if that was your best friend and you know his mama and daddy, right? He or they would just go to the mama's house. They would just go to Nolan. Man, come on, man. If that's my partner, even if it ain't, something go down, I'm pulling up at your people's house like, listen, fam, this your car, this your keys, this your phone, this your hat, this your shirt. That's the food he was eating when it was happening. This is what happened. What? That's how I'm coming. But it's funny how nobody did none of that. Nobody did none of that. You just said you called one time, didn't nobody pick up, and now Anton Daniels trying to run with that shit. Come on, gang.
No, what I'm saying is there are certain parts that I look at what he's doing and I don't give a fuck about, and I'm saying that don't have no relevance to anything that I care about. And then there's other parts that he does expose that I say, that's interesting. So I don't take everything that I've seen him say in an interview with people and take it as gospel. But there are certain things that he says and I'm like, wait a minute. If they did reach out to him, and he's saying that he has evidence that they did reach out to the mother, they did reach out to the family when it happened, why would they say that he didn't, that none of these people actually reached out to him? And why is that a thing?
Because the timing. The timing.
We heard in the interviews how Warren had to ask Javion for their parents' number.
But you ain't just go to their house?
He reached out that night.
But they're supposed to be friends. Wow.
Saying, hey, have you seen Nolan? And she was like, oh, nah. 11 hours later, though. You know what I'm saying? They had his phone and his keys for 7 to 8 hours. They said they didn't touch Nolan's phone, but they had to move the phone from the boat to the car.
To the house.
From the car to the hands of Nolan Wells' parents' friend.
Right. What are we talking about?
When you say reach out high.
See, that's exactly what Brandon Tatum is doing. He's only highlighting one thing that was done, or he's highlighting a sentence, or he's highlighting a phrase like, oh, I reached out to the mother. Well, when did you reach out? When did the situation happen? Okay, because timely fashion is everything in this type of situation. So it shows that you had the phone for about 8 hours. But you don't know what was going on with this man, but you done had his phone for 8 hours. Nothing in your body is telling you to contact the parents within an hour? Within 30 minutes? And then when you call, motherfucker, you called and asked her, did she see Nolan yet? And she like, no, gang, he supposed to be with you. You like, all right, he not with us. We don't know where he at, but everything is all right. Now hold up, right there. Hold up, right there. That's suspicious. You call 8 hours later and don't ask nothing but, where is Nolan? Do you know where Nolan at? You calling his mom and daddy. And they like, no, he supposed to be with you. So how do you all of a sudden tell her he's not with me, but don't get scared, everything is okay? How do you know everything is okay? Think about that for a second. What would make Warren say, but everything's okay? For them not to panic, or because you really know what's going on? And again, you still didn't call and say something about the fucking phone. So shut the hell up, Anton. You sound stupid. The man called 8 hours later and asked, did she see Nolan? He ain't even say nothing about the damn phone. This is what I'm talking about. And this is why we have to continue to decipher and dissect stupid ass people like this, dog. Because at the end of the day, Anton, that one thing about him contacting and not saying the rest of the details makes you look totally bad. So bad. Because now it's looking like you're trying to find a reason to go against Nolan Wells' parents. It's like you're digging for a reason to go against the parents, but yet you want to stick with the mutts. What are you doing? Make it make sense. This boy called 8 hours later to find out if Nolan was with his mom. Not to tell her, hey, I have his phone and his keys. We don't know where he's at, but we heard that we about to bring you his shit. It was none of that. So once again, Anton, you look bad.
The day on the 7th, Warren mom sent a text message. Hey, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I reached out. Oh, it didn't get to me. He said, oh, we can show proof that they reached out. What that mean? You got somebody.
You ain't lying, Theo.
You got somebody number from somebody else. The number ain't saved. You know what I'm saying? You didn't pull up.
And this is how you know that this is how you know or give you an ideal that they are people of interest. They all lawyered up and disappeared. Just think about that for a second. Shout out to you, Theo. I appreciate you sharing your information. But the point that what you said so strongly is that person did not lawyer up and disappear. I gotta put that on a shirt. Lawyer up and disappear. Woo-hoo. That's a shirt. Lawyer up and disappear. You better hear me, boy. Lawyer up and disappear. That's what they did. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly the only actions. Press 1 if you agree with me right now. I want to know who in here with me right now. I need to know who in here with me right now. Press 1, tell me where you're from right now. Press 1 if you agree. If you think that you don't think they guilty because they lawyered up and disappeared. They didn't come together. They didn't rise up and go to Nolan Wells' mama house with his belongings and clear their names. They lawyered up and disappeared. That's not defamation. We're telling you exactly what they did. You know how also? That guy about Bart, that Bart guy, they said that Bart and his people had already talked to the police. Yeah. So you know he lawyered up and disappeared. He had already, they said that he talked to the police already, him and his lawyer, and cleared his name. So think about that for a minute. Why would that be the case? Now, for Bart, it's different because I don't see Bart as being somebody that would think he was his friend. Now, you would think Wyatt, Warren, and the other guys are, but Bart, nah. So for Bart, that would make sense to lawyer up. But to disappear? Nah, that don't make sense, fam. Because if you ain't got nothing to do with nobody and you don't even know nobody, you just there, why you got to disappear? All you got to do is lawyer up to just tell your side of things from a legal standpoint. But these supposed to be his best friends and his friends. How do you all lawyer up for this situation, erase all of your social media, and then all of a sudden disappear? That is diabolical work, fam. That is heinous. That is diabolical. And the fact that they even got to GoFundMe to get money off of his name is disgusting. Disgusting.
Y'all such best friends. Y'all such best friends.
Such best friends.
Pull up to the mom's house.
Look at what I said. Look what I said. Look, I just said that.
With the families and try to offer your services of going to look for the son. You
Didn't I just say that? I just said that. Now that's how you know me and this brother is cut from a different cloth. We cut from the same respectable cloth that we've been raised by. I just said that out of my mouth, off the top of my own dome, and I pressed play, and this man saying the same thing. Y'all such best friends. Why you ain't just pull up at his mama house with his belongings and say, hey, listen, this what happened, this what it is, we looking for him. Can you call the police too and put an APB out? And I know, and I know why they got lawyers. Just like Kalia Hudson just said, shout out to Kalia, said, because somebody is guilty, somebody did something and they're disappearing because they're trying not to go to jail. They are fearful of the truth is going to come out, and that's why they lawyered up. She said, that's what need to be starting doing, lawyer up, shut your mouth, don't talk, believe them when they give you your rights. Anything you say will be used against you in the court of law. True. We know that. So, knowing that puts them in a situation whereas Warren shouldn't have had that interview with Tatum. Because Tatum just helped us out while he was trying to hurt us. He just helped us. You put that ignorant young man in front of the camera to talk, and he didn't even really probably want to. That was somebody else's idea for him to clear his own name. Think about that. You know how many people did not agree with him doing that interview on his own team? And in my mind, his mama, daddy, somebody was like, yeah, you finna go talk. You not finna be the one saying y'all friends, but you're not even talking. You're not even coming out saying y'all friends, you're sorry. This is so bad of a tragedy. I'm so hurt. You're doing none of that. So they tell you to go sit and do an interview with Brandon Tatum to script that emotion or to script that story to show that's my friend because I'm talking about it. But it's too late because you said y'all was best of friends. There is a time frame of friendism. Write that down. There's a time frame of friendism. When something happens to a friend, there's a time frame of reaction, response, and process. You understand me? There's a time frame of friendism. There's anything past that time, you're out of that friend zone, and now you're just an associate that chose to do something about something that you seen happen. But if it's friends, there's a time frame that when actions speak louder than words, because it's my damn friend, and I love him to death, Lord. And I can never see him above my side with me in this world, in the land of the living. There's a time frame of friendism. There's a time frame of a friend, of a loved one, when they became the thought to tell you I love you and you're my friend. You can never take that back. But it's a time frame of action. There's a time frame of action when friends involved. And friendism requires only such much of a time for you to react as a friend. And when you don't react as a friend in that time frame of friendism, that friend time, we know who you are now. We know who you are. Because that friend has expired. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. As always, fam, you know what the level is in here. It's only one way to do it and one way to do it only. That's 9 p.m. with your boy Deala T, Monday through Friday. You understand me? Right here, Central Time with your boy Eastern Time, an hour up or an hour after. But it's 9 p.m. Central Time with your boy Deala T. Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all pulling up, man. You got to understand it matters. It matters more than what you think, that we're here to bring understanding, that we're here to bring truth, that we're here to bring light to darkness, that we're here to inform, understand, and be aware that if it walk like a duck, if it talk like a duck, damn it, it's a duck. And it's duck hunting season, and we ain't having it. As always, family, I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all hitting that like button, double tapping that screen, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode, and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, truly, when you come in, never forget, hit that like button, become a member, put your notification bells on all so you never miss a show. So never forget to get you something to eat, get you something to smoke, get you something to drink, if that's what you do. Because at the end of the day, family, we only got each other, and it's all about us. And we're the only ones that's going to speak up about each other if somebody come against us. Because at the end of the day, you in here with your boy Deala T, my fame. And this is No Filters. Good night, family. Y'all have a good night. Be safe.